power belongs to those who have free minds. Those who can see behind the veil of illusion, know the truth, and can stand on it.
My pro-black, really pro-black, anti-hip-hop dress code. That's no cap, no vax. My white cells assassinate. Any kind of virus get chewed up, masticate. My immunity's indestructible. I'm a pillar of my community, no deductible. General Tucson leading the revolution. To black problems, we are the only fucking solution. No outsiders, no white saviors, we gatekeeping. I keep trying to wake them up cause they stay sleeping. Chooks is armed with ancestral wisdom, so I don't trust people that still trust the system. We gotta eat like Sebi, fight like Ali, think like Malcolm, migrate to Merca, Somalia. I carry my own water, so I value every drop of it. Drowning at the bottom, so I swim up to the top of it.
If I say it, then I mean it. I'm never backing down. Only a few real ones left now. If it's truth, then I'ma stand on it. If it's justice, then I'ma stand on it. If I say it, then I mean it. I'll never take it back. And if you ever hear me say it, then it's facts. That's my word, and I'ma stand on it. F what you heard, I'ma stand on it. Yeah. What happened to principles, character, fortitude? Healing through alchemy, magic is what I'm born to do. Time to purge the planet from human toxicity. People do any and everything for publicity. It's way out of control, destructive, they weak and careless. We either stand for what is right or else the people perish. Putting these devils in a panic, now we got them frantic. The righteousness of justice is poetic, Pac and Janet. You don't know lies from truth when you wearing blinders. Wisdom separates the strong people from the spineless. They tell me to kill them with kindness, be considerate, but everybody's capping out here, nothing's legitimate. Bodies surrounded us everywhere, but the souls is missing. The enemy is always watching and the ops is listening. No wonder most of these people feeling defeated. The language of God is encoded and they can't read it. If I say it, then I mean it. I'm never backing down. Only a few real ones left now. If it's truth, then I'ma stand on it. If it's justice, then I'ma stand on it. If I say it, then I mean it. I'll never take it back. And if you ever hear me say it, then it's facts. That's my word, and I'ma stand on it. F what you heard, I'ma stand on it. Rusty Chucks, Ty Phoenix, yeah.
All right, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of Do Not Radio, place where knowledge is born. I'm your host, Knowledge Born Alive. We here, okay? Look, let me tell y'all something, okay?
Here we go.
Tell y'all something. I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be in the presence of one with extraordinary divine wisdom, one of servant leadership, one of impactful and powerful and transformative healing modalities, one who is here to uplift us if we are willing and set us on a trajectory to resurrect those things that have been dormant in us in regards to the righteousness of self. So it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some to others and welcome back. Okay. For the record, this time I didn't have to beg. Only a little bit. Not much. Okay, not much, but a little something. Back to the platform and inviting loving, kind spirit who is our Mother God and here to give us a word of truth in an hour where lies are very, very popular. So let's give it up for Reverend Dr. J.N. Huskey.
Hello, Huskey. Oh, with the dance? Okay.
Yeah, I'm celebrating, okay? So we here in in March is the magical matriarchs in March, and you are truly magical, truly matriarchal, and truly in March. Okay, and we in Aries season, right? And it's Aries season right now.
Yeah,
So
we coming up on
folks
here.
ready to rumble. You okay to get a little hot under the collar and all that.
My son is an Aries, and it's a little difficult, but we making it.
Sunshine in his face. Okay. You up in the sunshine.
Mhm.
Okay, so
We're gonna let y'all be great until Leo season. We're gonna let y'all other signs rock out till the Leo take over.
hey, that's a different kind of sunshine. Okay, the fire in the sunshine. There's fire contained within the sun, but it ain't the same as the sunshine.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I understand. I understand. Shout out to the Leo risings. Okay, yeah, hip hop, yeah, hip hop, right? But yes, how have you been? We missed you. We love you.
I've
Well
been
wishes to
well.
you and to your tribe. Okay.
Definitely been well. Good to be back.
Yes. 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 Before we get into the topic, I always ask about everything other than them bars. Okay, because we could have been playing some of your music at the beginning. You understand what I'm saying? Because don't let Doc fool you.
We going
Doc
there
got
today?
yes, yes, yes. We
Don't let
starting
nobody.
off with that because I don't want to leave it off the list. Every time we
Man,
post a thing, I'll be like, man, we ain't talk about the bars because we get all technical and extra technical with the technical. But I want to start off with the bars because it's springtime. You see what I'm saying? We springing forward out here, and we give life to the words and everything. So before we get to the journaling and all that for everybody else, like this writing journey, this bar journey, this performance journey, like all of the spaces for you, like please enlighten the unenlightened in regards to the bar's journey. Okay, how did it
I
begin? Where
mean
did it
that.
begin? What was the spark? Who was you listening to? What all of the tea? Okay, all of the tea.
It's music is always gonna be a passion of mine. But I had to shift music from being a main passion to a pastime because I had more important work to do and a different platform that I had to embrace. But ever since I was younger, just writing poems, writing songs. It started off me writing songs because I was angry. So if a kid pissed me off at school, I'll go write a rap about them and say it on the playground, and the kids like, oh. So it started off that way, and I just developed the craft over the years. But that's a wicked, wicked industry, man. That's an industry that I soon realized that even though that was my passion, even though that's something that I love to do, I had to kind of weigh it up and say, for me personally, was it worth the sacrifices spiritually that I would have to make? And I decided that it wasn't. But, I still got it in me. It's still in there. But that's just something that I had to put on the back burner.
Yeah, one of my research questions is does the hip hop industry owe black people reparations? I'm curious to your thoughts on the topic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime that you intentionally cause toxicity in a community, I do feel like reparations are owed. And this may seem a drastic comparison to some people, but what they did with hip hop was a musical holocaust. What they did with hip hop was to intentionally implant these messages, put these people in position and call them leaders and call them celebrities and have our youth looking up to them and carry out the most toxic behaviors and interactions that they possibly could, making our youth think that was the way to go. And anytime that you intentionally do that to a people, is it's a spiritual genocide. You are killing the dreams of this little boy who used to want to be president, used to want to be an astronaut. Now he want to be a rapper, and that's where his dreams stop. And that's sometimes where his realm of possibility stops. he thinks the only way that he can be a wealthy and successful man is to have a ball in his hand or be on BET. And so they did a number on our community. So absolutely they owe us reparations for that.
Mm, mm, mm. A musical holocaust. You know that's a bar for the day, right? You know that's a bar.
That's the only way that I can describe it, because you're killing a people spiritually. You may not be
Mm.
physically marching them into ovens like Hitler did, but you still got these musical figures, these Jimmy Iovine's that will they still walked us into a furnace. They basically hindered us for years. Because hip hop started off as something so playful, something so fun, a display of skill. It was like a competitive sport, and it was supposed to stay that way. But when the quote unquote powers that be get in the mix and want to put their subliminal messaging in there and product placement in there, they didn't, I don't know if they knew how badly it would affect us, but I knew they knew it would affect us. And we're still recovering from that. Because now the top rappers are thoughts. our most played rappers, most streamed rappers right now are rapping about nothing but basically prostitution, buying purses and shoes, and that's accepted. Our male rappers are rapping about nothing but violence. We have a whole category of drill music based off of unaliving people, and that's famous, that's popular. The youth eat it up. They make TikTok dances to songs about killing folks. So they definitely, it's like Willie Lynch all over again. I don't think they knew how bad it would be, but they knew what they were doing.
I'm sure they knew exactly how bad it would be and then exactly what they were doing
Mm-hmm.
because they sold us crack, mother God. They sold us crack. They sold us heroin. You understand? They sold us cocaine. Like they were very ready, willing, and able to give us these things to finance wars that they were fighting. You know, they came with three strike rules. You know, like this is the 30-year anniversary of the 1994 crime bill. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they know exactly what they're doing. Like, so they called us predators and super predators in 1994, and that crime bill was signed into law September 13th, 1994.
Mm-hmm.
September 13th, 1994, coincidentally, is when Biggie came out with Ready to Die. We lost Tupac September 13th, 1996.
Mm-hmm.
So their response to what we had going on that was supposed to be fun, that was supposed to be something for those exceptional ones, because the exceptional ones were the ones who were bringing that out. They were misfits in our culture and in our neighborhoods initially. They weren't the people that had the bravado and the respect. So they became down by law because of their talent. So if you could break dance, if you could beatbox, if you were doing graffiti, if you could rap, you were down by law. And that's the thing that you wanted to be, because most of those guys and girls that were rappers, they were going to the arts schools. They were going to the schools for the arts. So they were there and they were protected. So being down by law, as they were explaining, which we knew, if you had something going on in life, you were protected. Wasn't nobody trying to harm you, hurt you, rob you, or make fun of you. They gave you a way of respect because you represented a way out.
Right.
You represented a way out. So literally, this was something that they did in the space of stifling, to stifle that, because rap and beatboxing came as a space of replacing them, taking instruments out of schools back then.
Mm-hmm.
So they found a way to make themselves an instrument, make themselves a drum, and then create these things. This is not what we're seeing today.
Mm-hmm.
So these things are commercialized, and our folks are exploited. So I asked the research question because if we can prove it on a micro level. We don't have any issues proving it on the macro level. So
Right.
sensationalism isn't something that's going to get anything done in the courtroom. Emotionalism isn't something that's going to get. We need evidence. We need facts. We need testimony. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I asked the question. So this is, a part of the documentary, part of the book that I'm writing. In regards to that, I'm asking that question: does the hip hop industry owe Black people reparations? So I have to tailor it and then rein some people in. They be like, everybody owes us. They start going all crazy. I'm like, no, 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 no,
Stay
no.
on top.
Come on back. Yeah, we're right here back. Like, so yeah. So I appreciate the answer, and if you don't mind that musical Holocaust, like I need that. I
Absolutely.
need. I need
I
that.
mean,
I need
think
to.
think about how the Holocaust played out. The
Right.
very first thing that Hitler did before the concentration camps, before rounding up the Jewish people, the very first thing that he started to do was putting cartoons and articles in newspapers that made
Mm-hmm.
people look at Jewish people in a bad light. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing that our media did to us. They made white folks scared of us. We the
Mm-hmm.
big bad Black people. They started with that narrative, and then hip hop comes into play. And the thing about music and Black folks, music and Africans, we've always had a message in our music. We've always used music for healing. We've always used music for ministry, for spreading knowledge, and it starts with drums. Sometimes you can go to certain spiritual or African ceremonies where there's no word spoken, it's only drums played, and you feel every word. They took those drums, and what happened was we let them replace the message. Instead of us putting the message into our music, we let them dictate what message went into the music. If you drop off crates of guns in the hood in California, and you tell this group want to kill them, you tell that group, this group want to kill them, and you start this rift and this war. Now you have these groups of people, these gangs as they label them, that were created to protect the neighborhoods from them, from white folks. Now you got them at odds with each other, and you put guns in their hands, then you put drugs in their hands, then all of a sudden Black people who are only high school educated get these chemist degrees and start cooking up drugs and creating other forms of it. They did all of that deliberately, and they knew what they were doing. And because of that, it's the same thing as a Holocaust to me. You strategically implemented these things to make a people destroy themselves. And so that way you can throw a rock and step back and hide your hand and say, nah, they're killing each other. We're not doing it. They're bad mouthing each other. They're painting each other in bad light. We didn't do it. So same thing Hitler did.
Man, I told y'all she had the bars. Okay, y'all hear the bars. Okay, right. So I want to transition into why I got you here. I had to let folks know, in case folks out there like she don't know what I'm saying. When I'm look, don't get smoked out here, okay? Because she got a high 16 to smoke you, fam. Don't get your feelings hurt and your ego bruised, okay? So there ain't no need for that. I want to transition into the topic of ancestral veneration. We're talking about journaling. We're talking about meditation. These aspects of going back within. This journey back within after being disconnected for so long. You know, how do we start that process? How do you take somebody who is clueless about themselves from this
Mm,
particular aspect and begin to introduce these concepts of going within, you know, looking towards your ancestral lineage for answers, looking towards self in regards to sitting with yourself, creating quiet space to quiet your mind to be able to meditate, or
mm,
picking up a pen and writing down those things that have you frustrated or perplexed. Like, how do you introduce these concepts, to your student body?
mm.
And what about yourself, if you could share a little bit?
It takes a certain amount of what I call unschooling. You have
Mm,
to kind of rearrange and reprogram the things that you've been taught. You have been basically taught from birth that you are subservient, that everything else is up here, and this is where you need to try to get to. You're down here and you need to try to attain this level. In African societies, they do not teach you that. I was taught, because of my African mother, I was taught very early on that you're the head and not the tail. To the point where my mother, even when it came to my grades, anything below an A is not acceptable. And her favorite line would be, I do not have average children. A C is an average. I don't have average children, so there will be no C's in my house. And that was the expectation that was laid for me. And so, not just with grades, just in the way that I carried myself, in the way my appearance, the way that I spoke. My mom now, I have to sit up a little straighter when she's around because I know there's an expectation there. When you instill that expectation of greatness into people, they try to attain it. But for so long, our people have been told that mediocre is the ceiling. You just got to be this good. You just got to be good enough. That great or excellent is not really in your reach, just long as you're good enough. And so I think that unschooling comes into play and says, no, you're great. You start off great. It's up to you whether you stay up there or not. It's up to you whether you stay on that level or you do things or make decisions that take you down a notch, but you can always get back to greatness. And I think a lot of our people don't realize that because they had those European religions and spiritual systems forced on them that say, you're a sinner. You was born a sinner. You was born to mess up. And now you got to spend the rest of your life paying for some chick eating an apple in the garden that you ain't had nothing to do with. And that weakens the mind. That conditions the mind to think that I am weak. I am a sinner. I am wrong. And so that's the first thing that has to happen when you are teaching a group of people to find themselves is to let them know that they start off in greatness and not that they start off in sin.
bars. Okay. Teacher, look. Bars. Okay. That they started off in greatness. Nice. Man, come on. On. All right. Look. Y'all see why I gotta beg her just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. You know what I'm
Here we
saying?
go every time with this.
I gotta beg her a little tiny bit because we need that. You know, you don't get that every day. You see what I'm saying? You don't get that every day. You don't like we mistake these propelling aspects for unrealistic expectations, right? So you can strive for excellence. That's supposed to be the standard. That's supposed to be the standard, you know, in regards to you, like whatever that excellence looks like for you. So excellence comes from excel. Like, so what do you excel in? So this is an opportunity to show what you excel in. You see what I'm saying? And then in that space, what you need to work on. So you can take that and work with that until it's a point of excellence. And then you go to the next and to the next to the next until you just excellent overall. So this is the human experience. This is the place, the battleground, the proving ground. That's what you with then, you know, show and prove. So I am glad for Mama. Honest to her. I know she just had a birthday not too long ago. Okay. All right, Mama. Hey, 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 hey. Okay. All praises due because
Mhm.
mother is all. Mother is all. Nobody would be here without her.
Absolutely.
So yes. So what was the journey for you like in regards to this space of looking within on your ancestral journey, you know, for you, and then how would you explain that to somebody like, what you talk about ancestors and what's that sound demonic? Like how
Mhm.
do you get to that space that you know kind of make that plain to people who have interest?
It's overcoming that European belief system of dead people being scary.
Mm,
Death is not a scary thing, it's a transition. And death is not making something null and void. It's something crossing over and changing form. But we're taught that if somebody die, if you speak to them after that, or if you see them or hear from them after that, that's a ghost and that's scary. And that's just a tactic that they use purposely because they saw that we were drawing on power from our ancestors and it was making us be able to overcome things. They didn't have that same connection. And so think about, let's say, a rap beef. I remember when Nicki Minaj came out and everybody was like, she's not paying homage to Little Kim. She's not honoring the women that came before her. She's not paying homage. We'll go that hard about a rapper not acknowledging a rapper that came before them. But we won't go as hard about your grandmama that came before you, that you wouldn't even exist without. Just like that, if you
Mm.
Nicki without Kim, I wouldn't be here without my grandmother. So I'm going to acknowledge her and honor her and pay homage to her in that sense. We don't worship our ancestors, they're not gods, but you definitely need to have a certain reverence for them and say, if you were not here and you did not do the things that you did and accomplish the things that you did, then I couldn't be here to accomplish the things that I did. I have an actual ancestor who he would have been my great great uncle who he worked in the house. Well, great three times uncle. He worked in the house. He worked in, and he was a house Negro. And he was basically the companion to the master's son. And so when this little white boy would learn his schoolwork, he would turn around and teach it to his black friend. So when he learned how to read, he taught his friend how to read. Whatever homework he had, he would share it with his friend. So I had this ancestor who, during the time where it was illegal for slaves to read, was able to read and do mathematics and things like that. But of course, he had to hide that. And one day he was outside and he was reading a book, the Bible, and he fell asleep under a tree reading. And a white woman walked up on him and saw this book laying on his chest as he slept under this tree and had a fit and went and got the rest of the white folks like, oh, this nigga can read. He gotta go. And they literally hung this ancestor because he knew how to read. And this happened down in South Carolina. And so when I learned of this story, when I was like 8 years old, maybe, it made me want to read as much as I could. Because here I had this ancestor that literally lost his life for wanting knowledge, wanting to know how to read. And I got a house full of books that I'm complaining because grandma and mama want me to read. I want to go outside and play. When I learned that story and that sacrifice that he made just from that hunger of knowledge, I wanted to read everything in sight. And so that's why you make those connections with your ancestors because it'll motivate you, but it'll also explain a lot of things about who you are and why you do the things you do and why your family moves the way that it does. And so I'm all about connecting with the ancestors, but we got to take the spookiness out of it. You're not talking to a ghost, you're talking to an energy that created you, an energy that you wouldn't be here without.
Today is the bars day, okay? Today is the day of the bars. Okay, see that's why I started off with the bars. So you can be comfortable giving us the bars today.
Mm,
Literally, they lived and they're alive. Like they lived and they're alive. You see what I'm saying? Like they lived. So they know what it's like to try to make a dollar out of 15 cents.
right,
Who else would know? Like who else would know for you? Like we be giving it up to the greats and everybody and blah blah blah. And they have the Ashe Fest and everybody be Asheing after all of the names. Like fam, if I don't hear your uncles and your aunts and your grandma, I don't want to talk to you. I'm listening to who you talking about. Like fam, like your uncle knew what it was like to make a ketchup sandwich, fam. Like you see what I'm saying? Like so if you try to make this couple dollars stretch, hey unc, man, look, unc, like you see what I'm saying? Or the one who hit the number. You see what I'm saying? The one who had to come up. Like, all right, like, hey, I need to make something shake. You understand what I'm saying? Like, hey, so literally invoking those ones that was close to you in that space that knew you or you knew of them. Even if you just knew of them, that's closer to you than somebody you ain't never known. You read about somewhere.
right,
Somebody in your family, in your bloodline that knew exactly what was going on. Like God ain't told you to go to the dice game. You go to the dice game and lost all your money. Now you going to God like, how I'm gonna pay my rent, fam? God don't know what rent is. God ain't never had no rent. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like the stuff you talking about, like, oh, I need to hit the lottery, like, oh, I need some money. Like, God don't like what's money, fam? Like, what you talking about? But your auntie know what money is. Your auntie know what it mean to hit the number. Hey, this is the scratch off right here today. Like this is where we at. Like, deal with those who live. That's the hierarchy. Like, you can't even get to God without going through them. Like, you can try to usurp them and go around, but you gonna learn a lesson. You gonna have to go back. You gonna have to get sent back. So, like, literally understand what's in your blood, what your blood is comprised of, what your genetics are comprised of, like who
Right.
you come from, that space. Like, wake that up within you. Like, what kind of problem is this, or what kind of situation is this? Is this the one that needs true divine intervention, or can I go to my folk? You see what I'm saying? And if my folk can't handle it, then that's send you where you need to go. They
And
know where you
even
need to
a
go.
lot of
So
people don't realize that spirituality and science are so intertwined. And that's why
talk
we
about
have the
it.
category of spiritual sciences. And
Mm,
so if you look at ancestors, you get everything from your ancestors through your bloodline, your appearance, everything that about you comes from your ancestors. And that's because you share their DNA. Well, as people of color, in our DNA, we have melanin. It's what makes
mm,
us brown. Now, melanin is a substance that absorbs light and sound. So that means that everything that you see and everything that you hear is absorbed into your melanin in your DNA. Now, if I get my DNA from my ancestors, then that means that everything that they saw and everything that they heard is in that melanin too. So that's why you have people who, you might have black folks who the whole running stereotype is, we're scared of water. We don't like to swim. You may have an ancestor who could have been thrown off of a slave ship. You may have an ancestor who had a bad experience with water, and those sights and sounds that were absorbed into their melanin are now in you, and you're scared of
mm,
water and don't know why. You could have had
mm,
an ancestor that was attacked by a dog during the civil rights movement, and now here you are in 2024, terrified of dogs, and you've never had a run in with a dog because it's in your DNA. And so you're carrying, literally carrying parts of your ancestors with you. It's also why we have these feelings of deja vu, feelings
mm,
of being a place before that we've never been, or doing an activity before that we've never done, because you probably had an ancestor who did, and that's in your DNA. And so, to me, if I'm carrying y'all with me everywhere I go, when we say our ancestors walk with us, it's not a bunch of ghosts walking around behind you. They're not in formation behind you, they're in you. You are carrying your grandmother and your great grandmother. You're carrying that in your DNA everywhere that you go. So when I step into a room, I got 400 people with me, and you can't see none of them but me. But they're there because I'm carrying
mm,
all of that with my DNA and with my melanin.
mm, mm. Huh. Today is the Thursday day of the bars. Okay, this is what every season is looking like right here. Okay, the Ram out here getting busy with the bars. Yes, yes, yes. So let's look at, well, if you could share an experience with working with someone in regards to this concept of taking them from that deer in the headlight, you must be crazy, I'm going to hell type of situation, to I'm beginning to work with this, the light bulb came on type situation with one of
Mhm.
the people that you work with. What was that journey like for you?
I think my favorite ones to work with are the young people, the youth,
Mm,
because you get to physically see on their face when that light bulb goes off and they make that connection. And one of the examples that I use when I'm explaining to youth, especially my teenagers, about ancestor veneration and about spirituality is, I tell them to imagine that Jesus is a famous rapper. God is a famous rapper, and he gonna be at a club in your city. When you go in this club, God is in VIP. He got his section over there, got all his disciples around him. They chilling. When you walk in, you really, really want to get in VIP. You want to get as close to God as you possibly can. And you look up and you see your grandma is sitting in VIP. Your grandma that passed away is sitting right in VIP next to God. Now you have a way in. Because, hey, grandma, can you get me in and get me closer to God? And so I explained to them that that's why we connect with our ancestors. We don't worship them, but they're closer to God than we are. They're in that spirit realm. So that when you talk to your ancestors or you ask them for guidance, you ask them for help, it's like, grandma, you kind of close to God. What do you think I should do in this situation? Or grandma, I need something from God. Can you put in a good word for me and see if he can help me out a little bit? And that usually helps them to connect with what ancestor veneration is and what that go between the creator and our ancestors are. And so usually when I tell them that, they have that aha moment where, okay, I understand now. So we're not praying to them. We're not worshiping our ancestors. We're not like on our knees praying to great grandma for a blessing, but she's closer to the source of the blessing than we are. So let me get grandma to put in a good word and help me get what it is that I'm trying to do, or get the guidance that I'm trying to get. And so when I see that look on their face and they made that connection, that's probably my favorite turnaround, when they start to realize that it's not a bunch of ooga booga scary stuff. It's really about just a connection.
So I'm gonna ask you, who easier to work with in the family after the children? You know, which one of us is easier to explain that concept with? Because the light came on with the youth, but some of my lights be coming on, they be a little dim,
Hmm.
be, be a little rusty, be a
I
little
won't
dusty.
say that it's necessarily easier, but I will
Mm,
say that it's more productive and more beneficial to the community to work with the women first.
mm,
Only because if you teach the women, they're going to teach the children.
mhm,
And so if I can help a sister get into the right mindset and become spiritually sound, then she's going to teach her kids that same way, and they're going to teach their kids that same way. So it becomes a generational knowledge being passed down. Now, I could politic with the brothers all day. And, I love my black men, but they're not as open and receptive to change.
uh,
That cognitive dissonance will kick in with a brother, and he like, nah, because my grandma
uh,
said Jesus was white and he got blonde hair and blue eyes, and that's just what it is. Don't come over here with all that bean pie, assalamu alaikum talk that you got, sister. Like, I'm not going for it. It takes them a little while to open up. Most men that I've come across in my teachings learn from experience. I'll
mm,
plant a seed and walk away with a man. With women, I'll hold in depth conversations. With a man, I'm like, let me leave you with this. I'm going to plant this seed and I'm going to walk away. And something's going to happen in your life that's going to make you say, oh, that's what that sister was talking about. That's what
mm,
she meant. And something's going to come along and water and cultivate that seed. But going up to a strong black man, a strong minded black man, and trying to
mhm,
tell him that everything that his granny and his mama done taught him since he was in his little Easter suits on Sunday is
mm,
not the correct way to go about it, you're going to get so much pushback and kickback because granny ain't wrong.
mhm,
That's just what it boils down to. But for the brothers, I will plant that seed, and like I said, I walk away. And 99% of the time, they come back and they find me and they say, okay, I see what you meant now. But with the sisters, I have to sit down and I have to explain it in a more nurturing way. I can't just
mm,
plant a seed and walk away with a woman because we're incubators. We have a womb. You don't just leave that seed there. You have to cultivate it. You have to water it. You have to explain it to a woman. So I have more in depth conversations with them.
okay. So y'all heard the truth today. Okay, we the ones with the look, the small incandescent. We got the 40-watt bulb. Okay, we got the 40-watt bulb. All right. So here.
But
Okay.
once a black man gets it, he got it. What I
Mm,
run into with my sisters is They like, yeah, I got it. I understand it. I'm about to change my way of life. And then if they mess around and meet the right man, he can throw them off track again. But with a black man,
Uh,
that's why you see so many brothers that come out of the prison system and they hardcore Muslims. Because
mhm.
once a man has it, oh, he got it and he'll die about it. Like that's what he believed, that's what he gonna stand on, and you can't tell him no different. But sisters, they can be a little swayed if they run into the right brothers. So some sisters I had to go back and reteach again.
Mm, mm, mm. The bars is dropping today. Okay. We can go from a 40-watt bulb to a 100-watt bulb if we do the work that's necessary. Okay. We ain't gotta be slow for the rest of the time. We do have some slow moments. Okay. Slow motion per minute. Slow motion per bit. Oh, my bad. Wrong station. Wrong station. All right. So while I get this whole thing with me over here situated, let's talk about journaling and we're in with meditation. So let's talk about journaling, the importance of journaling on your journey.
So I have some not so popular opinions on journaling. And my opinions on journaling are different for different races of people. For white women, anytime that I have patients or clients that are white women or even white men, journaling helps them to organize their thoughts because they can be very impulsive as a people. So I encourage them to keep a journal, to keep an account of their thoughts and their feelings. But when it comes to melanated people, when we keep a journal, it tends to be a book of sorrows. It tends to be us pouring all of these emotions and sometimes not so positive emotions into this book and going back and reading it or keeping it in our home, and it's just not a positive thing. It becomes just this overture of everything negative that we went through. And so for white people, I say, yeah, keep a journal, keep all of them over the years, keep them in a safe, keep them in a chest on a bookshelf. But for people of color, I say write about it and then rip it up or burn it.
Mm,
Do not keep it in a journal. Because what ends up happening is on Monday, if somebody pisses you off, you write about it and you put that angry energy into that page. And then on Tuesday, if something makes you sad, you write about it and you pour that sad energy into that page. And then you close it up, and most of the time, you keep it somewhere in your bedroom. So that means when you wake up on Wednesday, the very first energy that you feel and you're exposed to is that anger and that sadness that you put in that book that's in your nightstand. You don't even give yourself a chance to expose yourself to positive energy because you got this book storing this negative energy sitting right beside your head. And so I tell people of color, do write about it. Definitely write, sort your thoughts out, organize your feelings. But when you're done, read it back to yourself and rip it up or burn it because you got it out, you released it, you did what you need to do, and now let it go. And so it depends on who I'm talking to. Karen need a journal. You understand? Karen needs a journal because she needs to understand that instead of going to ask for the manager or calling the police on kids for selling lemonade, let me write my frustrations down in this book and leave folks alone. Like, let me organize these strong feelings I have. But Tanisha don't need a journal. She needs to be able to write and release. She doesn't need to hold on to that because we have a different life experience. So when it comes to journaling, it definitely race plays a huge role in how I direct people when it comes to that.
Now, today is the day of bars, and today is the day of discovery. Okay, because this is deep right here. And until you imparted it in the way you did, most folks wouldn't have looked at it like that. You see what I'm saying? Like they hear things and they like, oh, okay, well, we need to write it down, need to keep a journal, need to but when you start talking about it from a cultural perspective, it make all the sense in the world. Like you there for that release, you there to rid yourself of it then why you gonna keep it right there by you? You
Mhm.
know, yeah. Oh yeah, that's deep.
Because if you look at it from this perspective, our upbringing is different. Our life experience is different. Different races of people are just brought up differently. That's just that. When you have a white child, and I always speak for the women because I strongly feel as though a woman can't speak on a male's experience. I can comment on it, but I can't speak from that experience because I'm not a man. So I use women as an example. A young white girl, when she's young and she gets angry, she's allowed to express herself openly. She can say, I hate you, mom, stomp off of the stairs, slam her door, go in the room and make a hit list and shoot the school up if she chooses to, because they're encouraged to express what they feel. But a black woman, a little black girl, is encouraged to internalize. You can be mad at mama, but you better not say nothing. And you better not stomp up them stairs and slam no doors in my house or talk back. I know you're angry, but bottle that shit up and keep it moving. That's what we're taught from a very young age. So when you are older and you come to see me as a therapist, as a white woman, I want for you to still express yourself, but I need you to find a less toxic way to express yourself. So, Susan, let's keep this journal. When you have those strong feelings and impulses, let's write about it and put it in this book instead of acting out. But when Sister Girl comes to me, I have to tell her, listen, I know all your life you've been taught to bottle it up, but I want for you to release it. I want for you to write about it. I want for you to say exactly how you feel and kind of open up those floodgates. But afterwards, get rid of it. Because once you open up those floodgates, you might become overly emotional. You might take it too far. You might not be able to dial it back. So write about what you're feeling in that moment, read it back to yourself, rip it up or burn it, and keep it pushing. Because I'm telling you to go against your very nature. I'm telling you to go against everything you've been taught since a little girl. I don't want you to internalize it. I don't want you to bottle it up. I want you to let it out, but let it out in a controlled environment. And so it's much different when you're dealing with different races of people and you're teaching them to express through journaling.
Yeah. Yes. 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 All right. Before we get to meditation, I don't know if you've seen him. I'm about to say I know you've seen him. I'm sure, but you don't be on the medias of social like that. Excuse me. There's something that they're doing now with these cameras with the children, uh, and they have them go in the bathroom and say whatever they want to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious to get your thoughts, on that whole thing. I know they done had some memes and stuff, where they made fun of it or whatever. Do you see, first, your thoughts and perspectives on that? Do you see it as something that's viable, or just whatever, thoughts about that?
I feel as though it's funny to watch.
Hmm.
It is something to laugh about when the kids do unleash a plethora of cuss words in the bathroom. You can't get my kids to do that. It's not gonna happen. Um, if you put Kimani in a bathroom with a camera rolling and you tell her she can say any bad word that she wants to, she's gonna stand there for a few minutes and then she's gonna open the door and say, Mama, I'm done. She's not gonna say a bad word. And it's not because of fear, it's because of reverence. It's because I don't say those kind of words whether my mama is standing right here or she gonna watch this on the video later. I'm not gonna say that because I'm not supposed to express myself in an adult way like that. And so for me, I never had those issues with my kids where, they might let a word slip when they don't know what it means when they're real young. But once they are corrected and I tell them, hey, that's not a word for a kid, that's a grown up word. I don't tell them it's a bad word, but that's a grown up word. They know not to say that anymore because they're not a grown up. But, I don't knock the parents that want to get a giggle out of it. Some of these kids really be letting them fly when they get in that bathroom, but my kids ain't going for it. I'm a grown woman with my own children and I won't curse in front of my mother. You can't pay me to curse in front of my mother. So, yeah, it's not happening.
No way. So is it viable? Is there some merit or some credit to this thing? Like, from what place is it being done? Like, I see the exploitative space, but I don't see the other space. Like, what would
I don't
be
think there's a
something?
positive outcome from it, to be honest. I
Mm,
think that it is reinforcing the fact that you can do the wrong thing if I'm not right here. And
mm,
integrity is doing the right thing even when nobody's looking. And so
yes.
if you are encouraging a child to say curse words in the bathroom just because there's no adult around, then you are telling them that it's okay for you to do the wrong thing when somebody's not here standing over your shoulder. And so I'd rather my kids have integrity. So I don't play those type of games. I let them have that trend.
Okay. 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 Who? The day of the bars. Okay. The day of the bars. See what? Why she one of these magical matriarchs that I had to beg just a tiny bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. You know, like this much, but just a little bit. But it's like
One
this much.
day he gonna
It's
stop
okay.
telling y'all that lie. One day.
I'm just stretching the truth, Mama. I ain't telling a lie. I'm just stretching the truth a little bit. Okay.
When we get
So
on here and we do one episode of him not saying he gotta beg me, I'm gonna have to clutch my unk and catch my breath because he gonna give y'all that narrative every time.
yes, ma'am. So we here at the last topic. I thank you for always coming through. Whether I beg you or not. Okay. And sharing your love, sharing your divine wisdom, and coming with the bars. Okay. She come with bars all the time. I'm just emphasizing the bars since we started there today. Uh, meditation. Meditation. I know some of the schools have implemented this in the
Mhm.
space of corporal punishment. Um, we might have been told that this was something white or something Asian or whatever the case may be, right? We don't have righteous relationships with meditation. We have righteous and unrighteous relationships with prayer, quote unquote, but not meditation. So meditation is a viable option, something to, you know, reinstitute back into our family because if it's out in the world, it was with us first. You see what I'm saying? So how do we reinstitute and reintegrate something like meditation back into our families? So if you was to explain it to the ones with the 100-watt bulb versus the ones with the 40-watt bulb, how do you go about it?
First, we have to dispel that myth of meditation being white people stuff. We have a lot of black people who think that that's not a black thing to do. And I always, jokingly, but also very seriously, I tell my students, white people didn't create anything but oppression and potato salad with raisins in it. That's the only thing I'll ever give them credit for. Anything that exists, we created it. It started with us. And so I think if more black people understood that there's different ways to meditate, then they wouldn't be so opposed to it. You don't have to sit down, crisscross applesauce, and hum something or chant something and try to quiet your mind to meditate. Meditation can be music or dance meditation, where you put on a song that embodies the mood or the energy that you're trying to get to and dance around your house to that song. Meditation can be you cooking and thinking while you're cooking and processing what it is that's on your mind. Meditation is a reversed prayer. When you pray, you are putting intentions and requests out into the universe, out to your creator, out to whoever your deity is. You are taking something from the inside and putting it out. Now, meditation is prayer in reverse because you are taking the things that are on the outside and going inward. And so think about if your car starts to act up. If your car starts to make a noise or starts to malfunction in some kind of way, in order for the mechanic to fix that car, he has to go under the hood. He has to go inside of that car to figure out what's going on. He can't come sit in the passenger seat with you and be like, yep, I hear that knocking. That's not going to tell him where it's coming from. He has to go under the hood and go inside, go internal And so that's what we have to do sometimes. When something's off balance, when something is malfunctioning, we got to go under our hood. We have to go internally and figure out what's going on. And so for me, when I meditate, I like music meditation better. When I meditate, I will pick a song that embodies whatever energy that I'm trying to attain, whatever space I'm trying to get to. And it doesn't always have to be something calm. If I'm worried about bills or I'm worried about my finances, I'm going to put on some rap music that's talking about making money and blowing money and buying expensive cars because it's set in that prosperity energy that I'm trying to get to. And so it's like tuning myself into that frequency. And so, if more people look at it like just changing your radio station or tuning yourself into that frequency, they'll have a better understanding of meditation. Is you are not your body. You're a spirit that's wearing your body as a costume. Your spirit, your soul puts your body on like a onesie. And so when something malfunctions, it's not always the outside that needs to be fixed. Sometimes you got to go underneath that onesie and you got to go in internally and figure out what's going on. And that's what meditation is. So most people that I know, that yogic style meditation where you do sit quietly and try to block out the world, it doesn't work for a lot of people in our community. We have to figure out what type of meditation works for us and go in that direction.
I love that. Okay. Where the trap music at? The trap gospel music so I can get in my zone. Okay.
They got plenty of trap gospel music, a little bit too
Okay.
much.
Thug up a Jesus, thug up a Jesus, thug up a Jesus, thug up a Jesus. Oh, wait. We come back to that.
But again, it's just music carrying the message. Drums are always going to speak to Black people. There
Mhm.
was a study done when I was in school about there was this influx of Afro beats music starting to be more popular. And they were wondering, why are Black Americans flocking to this so much? This ain't what we normally listen to. It's the drums. Because if you literally put on an Afrobeat song with a steady drum beat and you listen to the heart of a Black person that's listening to that song, it'll sync up with the drums. Like physically, it'll start to match the beat of the drums. And that's because internally, that's a language that we had before we had words. We literally spoke with drums. And again, speaking on that DNA that you get from your ancestors, those way back ancestors remember when we spoke with drums and they understood what those drums said. So that's why you can listen to DeVito or you can listen to Tim's or Burna Boy and you have no idea what they said on a language level because they're speaking another language, but you felt that song and you know what they're talking about. And you don't know how you know what they're talking about, but you feel it though. So it's just about that music, about those drums.
She deep, y'all. Okay. That's why this is my mother God right here because she deep like that. Yes, yes. So before we go, we got to talk about what you got going on because you out here saving the planet, saving the world. You understand what I'm saying? Please tell us, Mother God, about House of Blanco. You understand what I'm saying? And shout out to all my House of Blanco affiliates. Okay. Oh, dear.
Hey,
Okay.
how's it Blanco? Because I know y'all watching. Um,
HB. Okay. HB.
yeah, those my people, those my girls. So, in House of Blanco right now, we are doing some spring rituals. Spring is a time of new beginnings, a time of attraction where the earth comes back alive. And so it's a perfect time to manifest things. So we come together, we set our intentions, we light our candles to manifest what it is that we want to have going forward into this new year. And so you can definitely sign up for those via the Instagram Blanco Bruja or official House of Blanco or houseofblanco.com, um, and get in on those rituals. We also are doing still the therapy bundles. So the main complaint that I was hearing over the past few months is that therapy is too expensive, that people can't afford therapy. And so what I decided to do was put together these self-pay bundles for if you don't have insurance or you feel as though your insurance won't cover holistic therapy, you can get a month's worth of therapy for $100. And that is something that you really can't beat. My normal rate for someone to have a session with me is $140 an hour. So for you to get 4 sessions, 4 weekly sessions in a month for $100 for less than what I get paid an hour, that's a really big deal. But I felt led to do that because I wanted to jumpstart that influx of people tapping in, getting therapy, seeing that it's not what they think it is, seeing that it actually is helpful. And I feel like if you lower the cost point, that makes it easier for people to do that. So y'all got tennis shoes that cost 3 times that much. So the same way you invest in them Jordans, make sure you invest in your mental health as well. So we do have those bundles, and we do have the life coaching bundles as well, where you get a month of life coaching for $200, and this is unlimited therapy sessions, as well as 24-hour a text line that you get where you can reach me directly at any time that you're going through something. So if you have a breakdown in the middle of the night and you need to vent to me, you have that direct number that you can reach out. So you're able to sign up for that life coaching as well. And all of that's available on houseofblanco.com. And that's pretty much all we got going for the spring. I take it pretty easy in the spring and just let the earth come back alive.
Gotta get them bundles, okay? Because them bundles is out here bundling, saying. You know what I'm saying? Get them bundles out here, saying. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's a lot going on out here. And gotta get them, gotta stay bundled up, right? Stay bundled up. Mother God, thank you for being you. You know, I know you go through what you go through, and you still find ways, space in your heart. They don't know how many universes you got spinning in the background. Okay, but you got universes out here spinning in the background, and you still, you know, give up yourself, make yourself available any time of the day or the night for us, and just very, very thankful again, for the gift that is you, the gift of your ancestral lineage that saw fit to bless us with your presence, with your gift, with your talents, with your wisdom, you know, and with your pen pan, because a pen pan is strong too. Okay, I can't leave that out of the equation. That pen pan is very, very strong. Okay, so it'll get you together real quick. So definitely thank you for being a blessing and being in the space to allow us to be a blessing to others through your teachings, through your guidance, and through your love. And my prayer is that through our laudable efforts, we are reciprocating and pouring back into you in the way that's befitting of what you have given to us in that space of righteous reciprocity. So,
Always a pleasure to be here for sure. Always a good time with you, even when you have to beg. It's
yes,
always a
man.
good time.
Yeah, let the people know, okay? It's not easy, okay? I don't want folks to be seeing this like, I think I can get her on my platform, to talk about what she was talking about over here with knowledge. Like, fam, let me tell you something. Good luck. That's all I got to say. Damn thing. Good luck, man. Good luck.
You shouldn't be easily accessible, though.
That's real.
That's for sure. I think when you are called to a higher purpose, you can't give just anybody access to you. That's not what you're here for.
So you got to find a word before we go.
Just enjoy life. Like it
Mm.
really is a whole lot shorter than what you realize. And I think being thankful for the little things will help us to enjoy life more. Like I know I probably sound like the biggest black hippie when I say that, but just enjoying yourself. Enjoy. Yeah, your kids might be getting on your nerves, making noise and running around the house, but enjoy it because one day they won't be. Or better yet, enjoy it because there's somebody else that would trade places with you that would love to have a child running around the house making noise. So just being thankful for what we have, being thankful for what we're blessed with, instead of focusing so much on what we don't have. And I think that that'll provide us the balance that we need for this spring season.
Yes. Spring forward. Okay. Stop falling back. Spring forward.
Mm-hmm.
Mother God, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay.
It's a pleasure.
Yes. We will see you next time.
For sure. Peace, peace.
Peace.
Priesthood. I miss you, mommy, kiss you, golly. Christian body, flying disc, reminisce of Garvey. Surrounded by the elders, probably. Then I sit with Gandhi. Mahalia, the whalers with Marley. Afro beats, a supernatural priest. Carry the sword of the Lord, clash with the beast. After me, there's casualties, catastrophes, disaster, drastically. I write along passionately, microphone mastery. Tribe known to Maccabees. They say I look like an Olmec. Books are the old text. African Bush or Kush or the Hoteps. After came a pharaoh who knew not Joseph. But kings reign the same apparel, same culture. Every time I rhyme, they add wings to my sculpture. Every line's a paradigm, prime supernova. The being future holder. Elohim, see through dreams, out the rain. Roger streams like I'm Noah. Moses, I throw my staff, turn the cobra. Vipers fast, bite the staff, bite the soldiers. With this microphone, I'm everlast, I'm Jehovah. The first one to work, I'm never last, I'm the owner.
All of the things I'm talking, not the yeah. Try what you not do if you're not the fair. My mind they tell me to disappear, yeah. So come and help me, cause I don't pray, my man, I don't pray, come on man, I can't stay for one place, because say, my day, take my fear away from you. They are talking shit, what them no get me. See you for forward, I put up my eyes, tension, my right, touch good. I cry, offshore, but my dread love. Believe me, I don't pray, Mohammed, I don't pray. Come on, man, I can't stay